Canadiens fans, do not worry. We will get into the Jake Evans contract extension. For now, we are talking about a trade. This took quite a while to get finalized, but take a look at this. It was posted by Frank Saravalli. There are a bunch of articles and stuff too that the teams are going out there and posting, but let's go out there and just look at this. It's a three-way trade between the Edmonton Oilers, the Boston Bruins, and the New Jersey Devils. This trade goes as follows. The Edmonton Oilers are receiving center Trent Frederic and forward Max Jones. The Boston Bruins are receiving a 2025 second-round pick from St. Louis, a 2026 Edmonton fourth-round pick, and defenseman Max Wanner. And then you have the New Jersey Devils receiving the rights to Shane LaChance. This is also from Edmonton for retaining 50% on Trent Frederic. So, this is like the biggest mid-trade I have ever seen. Lots of assets, lots of decent stuff, but not really anything too significant if you ignore just, Trent Frederic. And even yesterday, we had spoken about Trent Frederic as a potential trade target, a guy who was okay, but a guy who certainly was declining from last year. Frederic is a expiring UFA. 24-25 is the contract expiration, making $2.3 million a year. Is that right here? Is that 2.3? Yeah, it looks like it's 2.3. Yeah, so $2.3 million a year is Frederic's AAV. Divide that in half, it looks like, and we will see the Edmonton Oilers acquiring this guy. I'm not too sure, based off of what this tweet says, I'm not sure if Trent Frederic is being 50% retained by just New Jersey, or if Boston is also retaining 50%, therefore allowing Edmonton to get this guy for, let's do 2.3 divided by 2, which is 1.15, and then you do 1.15 divided by 2 again, which would be 575, something like that, $575,000. It doesn't seem like from this tweet that the Boston Bruins are retaining 50%, but let's take a look at this over here. So, yeah, it doesn't really seem like... Okay, here you go. Boston Bruins trade Frederic, 50% salary retained to New Jersey in exchange for unsigned draft choice Petr Hauser. Okay, so there is another asset that's getting sent around here. This is what I said, man, the biggest mid-trade I have ever seen. Boston trades Frederic 50% retained to New Jersey in exchange for Petr Hauser. New Jersey trades Frederic 50% retained again to Edmonton for Shane LaChance, and then Boston trades Max Jones and unsigned draft choice Petr Hauser to Edmonton in exchange for Max Wanner, St. Louis' second-round pick, and Edmonton's own fourth-round pick. So, yeah, this Petr Hauser guy... he wasn't talked about at all in the Frank Saravalli tweet here. I guess there was an extra player here. Awful deal for the Oilers. That's a massive overpay in my opinion. Who won this three-way trade? Let's go out there and think about it. So Edmonton is getting Frederic, a 15-point in 57 games center, 8 goals, 7 assists. Last year he had 40 points. The year before that he had 31. This season he is on pace for a lot less than those 2 years. So kind of on the decline here, but then again, Boston is not really all too great. Edmonton, though, they wanted that stability on their center core in the middle to bottom 6, so that's what they're getting here, I guess. You also have Max Jones, teammate of his, heading over to the Oilers here. We can just head over to Jones's profile on the Elite Prospects page here. Max Jones only had 7 games played this year with the Boston Bruins. He had 0 points. He was pretty good in the AHL, not a point per game, but still there. Last year, he had 15 points in 52 Anaheim Ducks games. I remember Jones a lot, actually, because when he was a part of the London Knights, he was one of the more productive dudes on that team. You can see that the Knights in this season, I think this was like a Chuck Marner and Dvorak year. Yeah, it was. They were so good, and then you had Max Jones and Olli Juolevi also hanging around there too. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting connection to make, but Max Jones heading from Boston over to Edmonton. The Oilers are getting these 2 forwards in exchange for all this other stuff. So draft picks and a whole bunch of other assets. We could go back to that first tweet here just to get a little bit more clarity on it. Petr Hauser heading over to the New Jersey Devils. Let's take a look at him. So, Peter... I should have had this open earlier, I apologize, but Petr Hauser, 2003 born forward, playing for Vitkovice in the Czech League, 21 years old, 6'4", 207, right-handed guy, a big dude, so he's now in the organization as well. Petr Hauser then goes over to Edmonton. Yes, that's exactly what the Oilers are getting. So Petr Hauser was a New Jersey draftee who was sent over to Boston in the first Trent Frederic part of the trade, and then Boston sent Max Jones and Petr Hauser to Edmonton. So this guy's also an Oiler here. 21 years old, scored 9 points in 16 Czechia 2 games, also had 0 points in 9 regular Czechia games, and now he's on Vitkovice, where he's on a 4-point in 16 game streak. Very interesting development for this guy, Petr Hauser. I'm not going to pretend that I know much about him, but he seems like an interesting project. Not really producing all too much, but he was productive in the under 20 level to a pretty significant capacity, so I think that's pretty good. But of course, I mean, if you're an NHL prospect looking towards having significant NHL time at some point, you're probably going to want to light up the junior league, especially when you're 20 years old like Petr Hauser was last year. So this is a new Edmonton prospect who is in the system from New Jersey. And if we take a look at some of the other assets here, so Shane LaChance is going over to New Jersey from the Edmonton Oilers. And if we take a look at his profile, this is also a 2003 born forward playing in the NCAA. So drafted by Edmonton, he is now in New Jersey. 21 years old, 6'5", 218, another big dude. He's producing a little bit more, though, as the captain of BU 2024-2025 season with 25 points and 32 games played. Pretty good number here for the Terriers captain. Nice prospect addition over to the New Jersey Devils, so some interesting names getting swapped around here, and then you also have yourselves Petr Hauser getting sent over as well, Max Wanner heading over to the Boston Bruins. So there are a bunch of prospects getting sent around here. Honestly, this trade is really difficult to follow if you just read the articles. Max Wanner is a 2003 born big defenseman, right-handed guy who had himself 2 points in 22 Bakersfield Condors games this year. Decently productive in the WHL, now in the AHL, not really doing too much, but he's there. Former 7th-round draft pick by the Oilers in 2021. So, with this in mind, I mean, this is the trade, I guess. If we take a look at everything, we can just insert the other name, the Petr Hauser player, into the tweet here. So, the Oilers are receiving Trent Frederic, Max Jones, as well as Petr Hauser. The New Jersey Devils are receiving the rights to Shane LaChance and 50% salary retained on Frederic, and then you have the Boston Bruins receiving a 2nd, a 4th, and Max Wanner. So this is a pretty big trade. The Oilers are receiving another guy too. Petr Hauser is in this deal. Frank Saravalli's tweet is not fully accurate, so yeah. This is the full details. It's really, really complicated, but the important part is the Oilers have Frederic. That's it. The other prospects and stuff, that's not really all too important in the grand scheme of things, unless you're a really big fan of Shane LaChance, but other than that, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the Boston Bruins trading Frederic away? They're starting to sell off their pieces, man, and they're getting draft picks. They're getting younger guys in exchange. There are interesting names being swapped around here. It seems like every team is getting a young guy. Boston is getting Max Wanner. New Jersey is getting Shane LaChance, and the Oilers are getting Petr Hauser, also on top of the Max Jones and Frederic contracts. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this three-way trade between the Oilers, the Bruins, and the Devils. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.